Hi. What you're about to watch is an actual play video, but it's way along the track of a campaign that we've been running on my early Saturday evening and everybody else's early Saturday morning, like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning early. I've talked about it on the channel in other videos here and there. It's been going on for a few months. So this time I was the host. Aloy, Umbramancer, is our game master. And all the other videos, I think all of the other videos, yes, all the other videos are hosted on Ivan Mike 1968's YouTube channel. Ivan's in this campaign as well, and he's playing our grand pilot. We have Craig from Third Floor Wars, we have our friend Jose, and we have Aloy running it, and me playing a Duros Gunslinger. So there's a playlist with all the videos on this channel, and the original videos, as I said, are on Ivan's channel. So I wouldn't actually recommend starting here. If it's your first alert that this campaign exists, my advice is to go back to the first video and proceed on through. We're having a lot of fun. Aloy's picking up the system really quickly, and we're running it in a way, I guess, that celebrates our love of Star Wars and the things we love about Star Wars. So I hope that strong love for the source material is contagious and that you enjoy watching it. Unlike many of the other videos on the channel in the actual play sections, this one isn't being posted as an introduction. There's no annotations on the screen, and there's no rules, tips, or pop-ups, or special effects, or anything like that. It's just us playing.
So, anyways, everybody's in the dice roller.
Si, senor.
So, should we roll Force again, Destiny Pool again, or are you guys enjoying the
I personally think it's great
imminent
that we
death?
I don't mind keeping it.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Okay. So let us begin, because we are being recorded. So let's do a short recap, because it's been like almost 2 months. So in this adventure, you guys extracted an Imperial defector by the name of Ariana Reese from a planet under the pretense that she had some information that the Alliance wanted. Now, it turns out she did not actually have it, but she told you that if you could go to this Imperial world called Byblos, that it contained backup files for the Empire, much like the planet of Scarif once did. And if you could get her there, she would extract the information. So this dovetailed with your Ills and I forgot Jose's name. Thorn? I think it was Thorn.
Jaster Thorn. Thorn.
Jaster Thorn. There we go. Thorn. With Thom's and Ill's exploration of the holo recorder that you had obtained from your master, basically detailing the works of one master, Fontar, an Ithorian Jedi master. And there was a record of the master having been on Byblos. That was the last known location. So you gave this information to Ariana. You guys came into the planet, which is basically a large planet-sized city, obtained permission to land in one of the towers, and docked on the tower. You took a local transport, like a lightning train, right? So to the actual Imperial Tower where the information could be accessed. Ariana accessed the information. She came out, and you took the train back to your tower where your ship is docked. In transit, she tells you that she has the information from Master Fontar's flight plan, because he was traveling on a ship known as the Sanctuary. And so between the information, the logged flight plan that she had and clues regarding, the art of Master Fontar, he was drawing some planets and some star systems. You deduced that he was likely headed for a star system called Kohler.
Polar, red giant star.
Which is a red giant star, correct? And it's a system deep in the core, because Byblos is not too far from the galactic core, right? So it's the core is an area where there's not much heavy traffic, right? So it's a bit difficult to navigate because there's a lot of stars in close proximity. So it's a remote part of the galaxy. But you feel you have the location now, so you're pretty sure. This also coincides with Il having had, the moment you guys start figuring this stuff out, Il has a vision of what seems to be a ship wrecked in space, right? So, which reminds me, I need to open up a tab. Correct. Let me look at this real quick, see if I can find it. Always in motion, yes. Hang on a second. Let's share our content. You guys see a picture?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yep, that was the vision, that Il got immediately when discussing this this location. And whoops, can I get back to Teams now, please?
The close.
Where is the close button?
Sir, stop sharing.
There we go. It just takes away, whenever I share, it takes away the main window with your faces, so I don't even know where it is. So anyway, that's the vision that Il got, confirming that, whatever you're looking for, it's probably there. But also on the way back, she starts fiddling with this large cassette type thing, 8-track cassette looking data, which is the actual data from the TIE Phantom project that you guys are interested in. This is the data that she promised the rebellion. And while fiddling with it to try to unlock the data, she activated a security measure, sent out an alarm. Stormtroopers showed up. You had a battle. Stormtroopers were vanquished. Train rolls into the station. And so that's pretty much where we're going to pick it up.
There was a probe droid too, wasn't there? Or a couple of them?
Probe droids, correct. So let's pick it up a few moments after that. The train docks into the station. Alarms are ringing throughout this area. It's a large concourse, right? It serves, the tower has multiple of these rails, right, heading out in multiple directions, and this is like on a couple of levels. And you reach there, people start pouring out of the train cars, and everybody's running. And stormtroopers, you can see them moving about, but the crowds are so big and everybody's panicking because of the alarms that you are able to take advantage of the chaos and confusion to make your way back to the hangar where your ship is. The tower, it almost looks like a nuclear reactor, right? And but you guys are docked on the external periphery of the outside ring. So you guys managed. We open with the doors opening up to this ramp out in space, because of course no railings, just a little walkway and a dish hanging out in God knows how high up in the air, and there's multiple ships all over around, right? But your ship is there, and as you're running towards the open ramp, You can hear the voice in your comlinks. Master Bob, the station is the tower is on alert. I'm getting chatter on the Imperial channels that security lockdown measures are being imposed. No ship may leave the station.
Thanks for the information. Fire up the engines. Fire up the engines. I'm just kind of running.
Roger that. So you guys go up the ramp, right? As you get to the cockpit, Max says, travel departing the tower is now prohibited, but I am reading multiple ion drive signatures. Multiple ships seem to be ready for takeoff. What should we do?
Let's be one of them.
I slide into the co-pilot seat and start the pre-flight check.
Right. And I'm just like, pretty much, as he's starting the pre-flight check, I'm just completely waving off my part of the pre-flight check entirely, hitting all the switches. We're checking nothing, and just engaging and ready to lift off.
Just going cold start. And so the ship engines fire up, right? And you can see, some of the other ships are starting. It's not the entire tower evacuating. It's a handful of ships that seem probably up to no good, much as yourselves. So they are also taking off. I read 5 ships taking off the tower. There are Star Destroyers in orbit moving towards our position. I suggest we make the jump to light speed as soon as possible, sir.
Well, an excellent suggestion. I think that's a great suggestion. In the meantime, let's kind of try to hang on to these other ships and use them as a bit of cover.
All right. So you start doing that. There's larger transports, smaller, yachts as the ships take off, and this is good because they're starting to scatter, right? So this should draw off Imperial attention from your ship. What course should we set, Captain?
And I look over
system.
back.
Kohler system.
Yeah, Kohler system. Might as well.
I'm going to do a sensor check to get a position on the Star Destroyers and our cover to try and predict a good route to maximize the range, keeping our cover between us and the destroyers, if possible.
Excellent. All right, so here's what we'll do. Sir, the Navi computer is having some difficulty calculating the exact trajectory as this Kohler system seems to be deep in the core. I need some assistance to plot in the course. So, meaning somebody has to roll an astrogation check to get the coordinates to Kohler.
I guess. as a Duros.
Right. As a Duros, yes. Out of curiosity, and you don't need to do this, but out of curiosity, could you show the dice roller in the video? Is that something?
Yeah,
that
you can share it. Yeah, you just pick it from.
Just do like the regular share. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to do that?
Sure. I'm just wondering, for people to watch, or I could do it, I guess.
Right,
for people to watch.
So.
Okay, so the astrogation check to Kohler is 2 purple difficulty, but there's 2 setback dice because it's in the deep core. Right?
I get a boost die by virtue of my species.
Ah, excellent.
And
is that worthless R2 unit helping us at all?
Yes, it is. So give yourself an extra. Do you have the skill? I suppose you do have it, right? Do you have the astrogation skill, Anthony?
Oh, not exactly.
Not exactly. So
we're looking at 3 green, 3 ability dice, and I don't get a boost die. I get an advantage automatically on the roll. So.
Okay,
Okay.
so just take a blue boost dice from the astromech droid.
Helping out. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
that's pretty bleak, actually. Well, there you go. Okay, rolling.
Oh,
One
Yeah,
success.
that's all we
what we're
needed.
talking about. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So
Inside a star. Good thing.
exactly. So the ship gains altitude pretty quickly. As I said, multiple ships scatter in different directions. So you can see the Star Destroyers in orbit repositioning. They're starting to release flights of TIE fighters to sort of cover, and you get the standard Chandler Dawn. By Imperial order, you are to return
Turn that thing
planet
off. Turn that
side.
thing off. I'm just like whacking the radio. All right. Not even gonna listen to that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what they're trying to do. And so after a harrowing climb to out of the gravity well, with multiple TIE fighters in pursuit, the ship makes the jump to light speed using the coordinates programmed by IL. And once again, after a short time in hyperspace, when the ship pulls back into normal space, you are greeted by the sight in IL's vision. So, so you are seeing this red giant, right? And there's supposed to be a lot of asteroids and debris at this area. It's just, this is what I could get from the Photoshop. So, imagine even more asteroids and debris orbit in the area. And, as the ship folds into normal space, you narrowly avoid colliding with an asteroid. And there's the equivalent of turbulence. The ship is shaking, right? As you move in.
Wait a minute, baby.
Sir, we're reading dangerously high levels of radiation, multiple debris and asteroid obstacles in our way.
Thanks for the. Oh, God, where did we bring him along for in the first place?
Someone needs
I'm
to
trying
angle the deflector shields, Bob. That's why he's telling us.
angle the deflector shields. Then go ahead. And in the meantime, I'm gonna try the solo trick of trying to at least hug one of the asteroids. So we're one of the larger asteroids, just so we're not getting bombarded by everything else.
Right. So you managed to keep close to one of the big ones to avoid random hits. The smaller ones are of course moving at faster speeds.
So unblinking,
Sensors.
I'll just keep staring out of the canopy, right? We've got a nice view of the top half of the ship, so I'll just keep staring out into space at all these projectiles. Whoa, look at that one.
Sir, sensor scan detects a large object in space, seems to correspond roughly to the specs of an old Republic ship. If I could find a ship, that would be nice.
So that what Mac is saying.
Yeah, I really was.
Yes. Anyway, I don't remember the model of the ship. It's one of those that resembles the, I guess, the ship where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn begin in Phantom Menace, right? And it's similar to one of those class of ships, and it's roughly that era, right? It's Clone Wars era ship. It's not Old Republic. It's Clone Wars era. Ship seems to be unpowered, but it's there. You gonna have to cross this debris field, though.
Alrighty. Well, I'm sure you fellas want this is what you're looking for, right? All righty. And so I'm going
Hit
to pilot it over there.
All right.
Before we-
So the question. Go ahead. Sorry.
Before we jump into the action, during the jump, can someone give me a heal roll or a stim pack or something?
Right.
You
I'm in the
have a
same
bunch
boat.
of impacts if you want it, but let's say, what did I say? 6. Let's call them 6 stim packs. Just,
Let's see
go ahead.
the.
Cool. So
Let me go.
I've been sitting in the gunnery seat and,
Right.
finally just realizing just how bad I'd been hit, and I juice up then. That's
Yeah,
a 5.
so-
Heals 5, right?
Well, I could You want me to take a look to see if I can help you do better than that? You got to look up
love
the
that.
skill because it's been a while.
Do it.
So recovery healing.
Should be an easy because I'm below half.
So medical care, difficulty on the target. So less than half or more, less than half of your wound threshold, right?
Yep.
So that's 1 purple die. And heal a number of wounds equals to the. All right. So that would be. Apologies, guys.
That's good.
Didn't have time last night to reread the whole book like I usually do.
Yeah, I find your lack of
Everybody.
memorization disturbing.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
You're officially a pod person. We want to know where Jose is.
Yeah. It's been so long. It's like, wait, how did this game go?
He's only played 4 other systems in the meantime.
Exactly. So
And usually it's like, well, on page number 62, what it says is, and in case, but if you're healing and, you happen to have had,
All right,
cake
so
that
you got
day, then, oh,
two successes and 3
Beautiful.
advantages. So I think that's
I, on the other hand, have more than half in wounds.
All right.
I have a threshold of 13. I'm currently sitting at 9 wounds.
Why'd you do that, man?
See, I stim pack to get myself below, and then I let him heal me.
Yes, which you could do if you want. I also have some additional stim packs from besides.
Well, then I will borrow a stim pack.
Do that, and then I'll
Make his roll easier.
Okay. So now we're way below half.
Oh.
Oh, we know who you like better. Nice.
it's 4 sensitive stick together. It's the way
No,
of
it's
things.
because he believed in my skills.
Mhm. I'm a
that's
Luddite.
it. Yeah.
So what have you done for me?
4
Healed 4.
more.
Perfect. I had 4 left.
Awesome.
Oddly enough, I didn't get injured at all. I just almost fell to my death several times. So.
Me too.
Excellent.
I think I had to carry our target as I leapt from car to car. That's most of what I did.
All right. So yeah, you take care of this during the actual jump, right? During the time that it takes for the jump. So my question for Bob is, how fast are you going to attempt to navigate the asteroid field? Because you have basically 2 options. The faster you go, the less checks you're going to need to make, right? But the slower you go, the easier the checks are going to be. So
This sounds very familiar.
yeah.
Well, not having had time. Yeah.
We're approaching the outpost from below.
That seems familiar, but I wrote this much before Anthony did. So
right, exactly.
Great minds.
Yeah, well,
Think alike.
let's not do anything different because I haven't had time to do the math, and Bob wouldn't care about the math. So let's get over there, get this over with. Punch it. So we're gonna go as fast as this thing will go, which actually doesn't go very fast at all. It goes.
So I think
has
your
a speed of
is
3.
1 to
So
3. Yeah. So
that's
you're going at 3. All right. So that's
Going at
excellent. That means that you're only going to have to make 1 check and 1 check only. But your difficulty will be, it's 2 for silhouette and speed 3. So The difficulty to navigate through all this debris and asteroids is 2 red dice and 1 purple, plus 2 setback dice for the debris and the asteroids.
Now tell him the difficulty he could have had he gone speed 1.
Well, it just goes by silhouette, so it would have been 2 purples, 1 red and 1 purple would have been the difficulty.
Right.
Plus,
so it's half the
not that
silhouette, right? So half the silhouette.
It's half the silhouette, right? Which
okay.
is silhouette 4, so it's 2, and then your speed. Those are the 2 numbers you compare.
Right. Okay.
So I'll be assisting as we fly, but in moments where my hands are at rest, I'll be shooting a lidless gaze over at Bob in a blankly accusing way.
Okay. And in the meantime, well, yeah. And despite the difficulty of the asteroid field, I am skilled enough of a jockey that
Don't
doubly
say that before
difficult.
you roll.
That doubly difficult thing.
Yeah,
say that stuff out
2
loud.
setback dice. You got 2 setback dice. So if you have any,
I know.
Aloy is tired of running agents.
The advanced skilled jockey talent knocks them both out. I've taken.
And I
twice,
think,
so.
I think we should flip one of those black destiny points.
Yes.
Because so
Why not?
instead of
Gives us-
2 reds
gives
and
us
1
3
purple,
red?
let's make it 3 red. Yeah.
Three reds. Okay, great. All right. So
Because what could go wrong?
my talent negates the setback dice. Il's giving me a boost die. Is that the idea?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Wonderful. And then I'm pretty good at this. How good am I at this piloting crap? I'm pretty good. 3 yellows and a green. Do I want to flip
Oh,
the
you
destiny
sure
point
are.
back?
Wow. I didn't realize that you'd bump that up that much.
I just removed a destiny point. I can't.
It's what he
I'm
does.
really bad at this.
It's all he does.
He absolutely will not stop deleting dice.
I did it again.
Destiny
For God's sake.
until we are dead.
I was
The
talking
hell
about his
with
piloting
destiny.
ability. I was talking about
The
his piloting
hell with
ability,
destiny.
but that too.
All right.
Yeah,
So yeah. So
Do you
that's
want to
right.
flip
Okay.
one to
Do I
help
want to
yourself?
flip one? I give you all that. No. Let's build this pool back up on our side. No. All right, here we go. That's pretty good. It's statistically in our favor by just a little bit.
Keep saying stuff like that out loud.
Hey,
Well,
look at all that threat.
And a failure and with tons of threat. So
All right.
Neat.
So, the initial part of the flight is good. Is very smooth, right? So you're avoiding things left and right, and the ship is juking, right? So let's give you half of that in stress. So 2 stress.
myself.
And yes, because you're piloting, right? So you're seeing all this thing, and everybody's trying to hang on for dear life, and but you're not fast enough, and there's a piece of asteroid headed straight for you, and Max is sitting in the gunnery chair. Fortunately, he just mentioned, so you see this large, piece of asteroid headed straight for you. You might be able to knock it out if you want.
How difficult would that be?
It's going to be 2 purple gunnery check plus 2 setback dice, because I'm going to use the rest of that threat and turn into 2 setback dice.
So Max is sitting in the chair,
Loose.
and he sees the asteroid, and Bob, we're gonna turn, right? Bob pulls the trigger.
All right, so I'm going to flip once
I
more.
rolled before you could.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I won't flip. Let's let it stand.
You beat him to
So,
it.
yeah. So you manage to, you go for the quad cannons and boom, 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 and it breaks up into pieces. But that was very stressful. So take 2 stress.
Got it.
And you manage to avoid a collision with the asteroid. And so the
Max,
ship makes
this is the cockpit speaking. We were turning
Not
right
fast.
into it.
Yeah, right.
So you manage to make this dangerous flight over to the piece of floating debris.
Maybe Il could see it like me gritting my teeth, just going teamwork. It's all teamwork.
I imagine Jasper at all this exchange. I just exchange a glance with the R2 unit.
So
Nice fog of war, Eloy.
That's cool.
hopefully, yeah, it's the best I could do. So this is basically the outline of the wreck of the ship, right? So zooming in closer, you can see the part there that says forward airlock and freight elevator. So you managed to dock with the ship, right? And so let me move this thing over here. I got so many screens and so many windows open. Sir, I am reading a light atmosphere within the wreck.
Light atmosphere. How light? Breathable?
It should be breathable, but I'd recommend spacesuits just in case.
Alrighty, thanks. Thanks, Max.
So you do have, so you do have some spacesuits on board. I don't, skin tight, sort of look like wetsuits, right? With clear plastic helmets. So.
All right, go
I will don mine and grab my gear.
So who is going, and are you taking Sons of Alderaan with you? What's the...
who's on the ship with us? How many sons do we have on the ship with us?
Let's go for the usual full complement, which is however many you can carry, right? And we know we use the leadership skill to determine that.
Yeah, so I figure out which 3 of those. We don't know their names yet, and I pick them. So you're with me.
All right. So who else is going?
I'm going.
And
I'll bring them. Why not? Yeah.
Everybody should go because that's all that's happening.
That's the adventure.
I check to make sure we're on the right railroad.
Exactly.
I'm going.
So you check your tickets, and yes, it's indeed this is your stop.
I'm totally going. Is a recommendation to bring Sons of Alderaan? Is that it? Or is not really?
I would. Bob, pick out your favorites.
Oh.
And me and my team will be at the front.
So while my 2 are getting ready, I'm gonna lean in to Jaster and say, "Do you feel anything in the Force?" And my purpose here is that I'm going to share my foresight with him.
Okay.
So he can have a vision of a near future event as pertains to him.
Oh.
As pertains to him, what's the is there a mechanical effect to that, or is it just a vision that I give him? It's fiat. Excellent.
Even better.
All right, so I'll keep that in mind. So,
and Eloy, just as a matter of routine, just so you let me know when to do it. My plan is going to be, because my sensibility for life forms works with a short range. Every time, just before we get on the ship, and every time that we move a short range increment, I'll roll. Now I won't always be successful, honestly, but just so I'll go ahead and roll the first time now and just
go for it. Yeah.
see, teams, and this is a very easy roll because it's just, and my thing is rolling percent instead of force dice. So okay, I got nothing this time.
So. I got nothing. Yeah. So you enter this airlock, and there is some power in this ship, right? And it is enough to cycle the airlock mechanism, and you swiftly find yourselves in the in the small room, faced basically with another door. But there is there's just like this mist on the floor, right? Which is a sign of the air recyclers not going full power. There is gravity. It kind of fluctuates, right? It's below the usual 1G, right? But it sort of fluctuates. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's a miracle that this thing still has power, right? This has been going for at least 20 years since the Clone Wars. So it's just a miracle that there's still power in this wreck of a ship.
Question. Would it make sense for us, because we're exploring a ship, to bring the astromech at the tag along at the back in case we need technical checks to open doors and that kind of thing? Would that make sense?
To you.
To the team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring the droids.
Yeah. Bring the droids.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you bring your droid. Who was bringing Sons of Alderaan, just for record keeping? Craig's got 3.
Max has 3.
Mm-hmm. Il has 2. 2. Okay. And Bob?
Bob is going to bring Vance, Grilla, and Flamberg.
Nice.
So three guys. 3 guys, all appropriately named.
And so, there's debris. There, from this initial vantage point, you don't see. Well, this room is basically intact, really. Let's just leave it at that. And you make your way to the next chamber, which is right here. And you imagine that this forward portion of the ship, this should be the bridge, but it's like a 2 double deck system, right? So it would be an upper section and a lower section, and you guys are like in the upper section, right? So it's not the bridge. This area is actually the turbo laser battery room, which you recognize immediately. You start, looking around. And what you find here is that, there is still power in the weapon cells. The turbo laser batteries would be, scattered throughout the ship, but there should be some on the bridge. It seems you can see some of it out of a viewport, and the emplacement itself is wrecked. So, it can't fire, but you can see that the capacitors are charged up. And so if someone were to set it, you might get it to overload, and it would just cause a big explosion. So you might not want to do that just right now. There is a door forward to what would be the auxiliary bridge, or the bridge support, right? Which is part of the double arrangement of the bridge, but the lower half has been blown off, right? So you could see that as you were docking, and there is a hatch here leading to the aft section of the ship. So you could go either way.
Let's go forward first, guys. If it's
okay,
the auxiliary bridge, maybe we can get some intel on what happened here.
Okay, so you are fiddling with the door because it seems to be jammed. It's slightly bent out of shape, so you're sort of like having to pry it open. And as you do, you hear, "Sir, we're getting a solar flare. Sir, we're getting a shh." and the whole ship just shakes, as it is buffeted by this wave of radiation. You're safe from the radiation inside, right? But it just buffets the ship, and everything rattles and shakes and makes this horrendous noise. And each of you has to make a fear check.
Fear check.
Purple difficulty. How are you handling the fact that this thing could, just fall apart at any second?
And that'll be discipline, right?
It is discipline, and if you don't have discipline, it's what? Cool?
Will.
Yeah. So it is 2 purple difficulty.
Well, apparently, I'm not too keen on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Will, because I don't have any discipline.
So Max is going to have 2 setback dice to his checks for the next bit.
Game over, man.
2 purples?
It is 2 purple difficulty, yes.
Okay.
All right.
The unflappable.
Bob is completely cool and collected.
Not my first rodeo.
Oh,
so
no force involved. That was a mistake.
Jaster is centered and cool and collected.
Thanks to.
Uh-oh. So.
There's only 2 of us that truly understand how bad this is, Il.
That's right. I was raised in space.
Exactly. So, Il, the fact that you can't seem to be handling the stress imposed is going to give you 2 conflict at the end of the session. So when you roll, you got 2 conflict.
Remember,
and
Master,
you also get 1 setback dice for rolls going forward, and 1 point of strain is what you get.
Okie dokie.
Right. You just notice also that the thing has ionized your comm links, so the comms with the ship seem to be out. You can sort of hear Mac's voice, occasionally trying to contact you, but it's just static that comes out, and maybe a syllable or something goes through.
Oh dear, they're
dead. But just be advised that communication with the ship is now severely compromised. The good news, however, is that you managed to make your way up to bridge support.
Excellent.
And it is completely wrecked, right? You can notice that there are no blaster fire marks, right? So this wreck, at least at this portion of the ship, maybe elsewhere it's different, but you don't see blast marks like no Star Destroyer was hammering on the ship. At least that's what it seems, because there's no burn marks, no scorch marks. So it seems to be mechanical trauma. Something slammed into it, and with all the asteroids, it's not really that big of a mystery, right?
Is there?
You can see.
Is there any power?
There is a low amount of power going through the ship, right? Like it's somehow still running. There must be a power plant still running in the ship, because otherwise it wouldn't work.
Okay.
And you can see the chassis of an old protocol droid sitting in one of the seats of this area of the bridge, and it's just sitting there staring out.
I'll tell R2 is, can you see if you can access, if there's enough power for you to access the logs? They plug in and.
I'll check the droid.
Okay.
I can roll for the astromech if you want.
Give me 2 purple difficulty for the droid, and I am going to flip a destiny point. So let's make it 1 red, 1 purple for the droid.
And that's a computer check?
Yeah.
All right.
And it goes over to the droid. You check the power switch on the back of its head, and you flip it back on, and it's barely the photoreceptors, the eyes barely light up. Ooh, that's a good roll.
In the meantime, Bob's just like all three eyes are rolling as Jasper's like politely asking the R2 unit, "Could you please?" I'm like, "What the heck?"
Hey, listen, Jedi wannabes are polite to their astromech droids. This is like written.
Max is just impatient. He's just like, whatever we're doing, let's do it a little bit faster.
And other than that, I'm just checking all the controls, looking for anything,
This droid is powering up, but we need to recharge him.
That's true. You might need to recharge it, because right now it's just speaking very, very blurred, right? So it's like danger, red alert, collision. It's just not really working. But R2 starts beeping out information, right? Somebody has to speak binary, because somebody always speaks binary. So R2 is reporting that the ship logs indicate, no contact with enemy vessels. So it arrived in system, approached the star. It was set on a course to orbit the star from a safe distance. Presumably, this is Master Fontar just giving instructions, right, to maybe proceed with this art. But then general shipwide alert is rung, and there seems to be an intruder in the ship. And there's R2 plays back some recordings of people screaming. It's like, and you hear metallic clanging, like somebody, imagine somebody like slamming on a sheet of metal with a large sledgehammer, right? It's like bang, bang, and interspersed with people screaming and blaster bolts are flying, and I think that's and then the next thing that R2 plays is collision alert, and the ship seems to be going out of course, and it seems to have landed in this large orbit, right?
Well, it wasn't just an asteroid then, now was it? And I'm pulling off a panel off the control section area, like you're grabbing one of the power cables. There's like a jack right in the back of this poor protocol droid to see if I can juice him up just enough to get some more information out of him.
Yeah. You do. Let's move it forward, and just because the check was so good, the R2 check was so good, you basically get mostly the same information. It doesn't seem to contribute much else.
Okay.
So, same sense that there was an intruder on board, some chaos as personnel seem to be dealing with that, but also the ship, hits an asteroid or something and is locked in orbit, basically. Not much beyond that. No ship contact, right? So there's doesn't seem to be any separatist ships or anything attacking this particular ship.
So somebody got on this ship without any prior warning? Is that what we're thinking?
Well, stowaways happen all the time. Depends. Some of these ships have lots of compartments. Some people are just really good at stowing away. But probably whatever it is, probably dead by now. I mean, it's got to have been years. So
yeah, it was a stowaway. It was a stowaway who deformed a blast door.
Let's go look for their corpse.
check my gun. Like, yeah.
Is there any way we can scan the ship, like internally, and get it? Is that operational or not? Internal scans.
Well, I think it would take more power and that
Okay.
you have available right now. All power
Let's
seems
just-
to be diverted mainly to artificial gravity and atmosphere, right, and life support.
I think the only way to know if there's actual living people on a ship is to actually have the Force do it for you. I don't think they have sensors.
Yeah. So basically, I'll start rolling for when we get to the hatch, going to the aft section before opening it, right? So that's going to be my next roll.
All right. So is that the next area that you're checking, right?
Yep.
Okay. So give me that roll.
There you go. 2.
Oh, hang on. Is it showing on the? Let me refresh it. If your site isn't loading correctly, click here. That didn't do a thing. Let's
So
just
it's,
refresh.
you close the picture you're sharing now, and then you share the next picture.
Hang on. So I'm trying to refresh the dice roller because I don't. All I see. Oh, it's the 2 light side points. That's Jose's roll, right?
Yep.
Right.
Oh, cool. So yeah. You don't sense any living things. What can you sense with your powers? Just life, right?
Correct. I can sense all living things within the short range, including sentient and non-sentient beings. So I sense us and any sentient beings.
Okay, yeah. So there's no additional sentient beings that you can sense. Okay. So you open the hatch, and it's just a long passageway, right, until you hit a set of doors. And there are, let me just clear this area over here. And there are faint flickering lights, right? So it's partial power to the lights. This area of the ship is basically closed off. You're here at the, where's the door? Hang on. I think I missed the door. Might be back. I think it's back here. I think it's
Yeah,
this
there it is, I think.
thing over here. There it is. So, that's a closed door.
Max opens
You
it.
guys wish to proceed? All right. So again, this door is not really jammed, so it manages to open, and you identify this as the crew quarters, right? So there are
Time to loot.
dead bodies. There are dead bodies here, right? They're after 20 years, they're either mummified or mostly mummified, I would think, or crumbling to skeletons, right? There's really no. There would be bacteria and stuff like that, but there's no really, nothing is eating the flesh, right? So it's mostly mummified bodies. Somebody has medical training, Jaster, I believe?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so, this is not rocket science. You can see puncture wounds, very large puncture wounds, like somebody drove a
Spike.
It's like a huge spike, right? Like it just several puncture wounds along different sides of the body. You can see indentations in the bulkhead below, right? Like one guy fell on his back and there's a puncture wound on his back, and when you move the body a little bit, you can see there's indentation up on the deck beneath it.
Whatever
so the
impaled
force
him went
behind
right through. Yeah.
the force is considerable that impacted this poor person. Other than dead bodies, there doesn't seem to be much in here.
This ship is in surprisingly good shape considering everything it's been through. And man, I've always dreamed of having a ship like this. So I guarantee you there's something horrible lurking with its last vestiges of power waiting to ambush us.
Right. So at this point, you have.
Yeah, I'm looking at Il as he's saying this. Like, that's ridiculous.
So looks like that's far enough that I'm going to roll another sense check.
Really, you go first.
Because why not? Oh.
It's you. You are on fire.
Unfortunately, no life signs. You can sense no life. And then the ship shakes again, right? There's another wave of solar wind hits it, right? And so, there's the rumbling again, and the creaking like the ship could fall apart any second now.
I'm sticking really close to Bob.
You are faced with two options of going south, right? You can either go down, left or right, basically. Which way would you like to proceed first?
Left is always the right.
I'd vote that we go down to our character's right and our left, because it's further away from where there's a big hole in the ship.
Yes.
Okay. So you're saying this way?
Yes, sir.
Although it's awfully close to the skin of the ship, which.
It's fine.
Yeah, but it seems to be fine. And so the corridor keeps going south. Is there a door here between those two? I think there is. So at this point, that's my bad. It actually connects to the other corridor right there. There's like an intersection here. And the hatch is labeled, hospital / medical bay, right? So if you go through the door, this area over here is the hospital medical labs and is so labeled.
So looking inside, does it look like they were like they were in the process of doing surgery and medical treatment and then got interrupted by someone killing them?
So when you open the hatch to the area, you note that there's some viewports which are half cracked, and the entire medical section seems to be open to space. So there's nothing there. Whatever there was in there was sucked out. So that area is completely blasted. Yes. So you continue to make your way south. And there is an opening to what says, clearly labeled in the corridor, the repair bay and general storage area.
Open the door.
Open the door. Okay, so you open the door, and this is actually a very large room. And it is wrecked, but not open to space. So it's there's atmosphere here, right? So let's just go about there. That's probably close enough. Hang on, where is that little section? Okay, so this area is wrecked, right? Like much of the ship. There's debris strewn about and, pieces of equipment. And you notice that, there should probably be more material in here. There should be, those of you, Bob and Il, who have experience with starships, realize that, there should be more backup things like cells, repair parts, circuitry, all that stuff. It seems to be rather low on stores. And you notice a astromech, primitive astromech, right, moving about, just lumbering at very slow speed. So it seems that the astromech droids have been operating on autopilot, just trying to keep the ship alive, right? So they've been using. They've been using all the material in the repair bay to keep the ship going. This is probably why they're still power and atmosphere, right, left on the ship.
Oh, your ship comes with a crew. Not bad.
Good work, little guy.
And so, as you were looking around this area, Jaster gets an immediate vision of danger incoming, and you can see, from the roof of the bay, the uncoiling of mechanical arms, right? As there's something stuck on the bay on the roof, right? This is your vision, and I am going to give you a boost die on your vigilance initiative check, and it is, of course, time for everybody to roll initiative.
Hey, and because it's been almost 2 months, our initiative is either
cool or vigilance.
I'm going to say vigilance. I'm going to say vigilance because this is a surprise thing.
That's good because my cool is horrible.
Oh, I got a 0 too.
Oh, my cool is actually pretty good. Never mind. My vigilance is not good. Anyway, my vigilance is better.
Jose.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to share my ability to add the force rating to the initiative check.
Oh, nice.
With you.
Perfect.
Did you say you had a bonus to that? 0 because of the setback dice? What did you get?
I forgot the setback die.
I got just
okay.
2 advantages, so no successes.
2 advantages. Okay. Ivan gets 3.
Do you guys see my roll?
Yeah, you got one success
and 4 advantages and a black die. Yeah.
I don't see anything.
+4.
My setback die didn't matter.
So
I have 3 and an advantage.
So you have 3 because of your 3 and an advantage. Cool. So that's Craig, Bob. All right. So the way I see it, it's a PC tied with the bad guy, but I'm going to say that the PC goes first, then bad guy, then 3 PC slots. And maybe, I don't know, it's either ill or it sounds like it should be either ill or Jaster getting the initiative, right? Because of the vision.
If it's a tie, I'd really like to go first.
Yeah, no, you go first because Jaster would say, probably he wouldn't even say anything. They'd probably kind of just communicate through this force bond, right?
Looking up, yeah.
Yeah, looking up, and they kind of look up simultaneously.
And thought becomes deed. I finally went for the improved quick draw, so both guns appear as if they had always been there.
Oh, nice. Let me see if I actually have a picture of this thing. Oh, yeah, here it is. So uncoiling from the roof is you suddenly notice this black ring or disc shaped object, and a bunch of red lights sort of light up like as a ring around the thing, and it uncoils these powerful arms. And let me share content again. And this is what you see coming out of the ceiling, right? This thing is to be descending.
Oh dear, that's horrible.
That is horrible.
How big is it, Aloy?
It's pretty big. It's I would say it's about the size of the head portion is about the size of a probe droid, Imperial probe droid, right?
Yeah, that's
so
like
with
a probe droid on
the legs,
steroids.
it's pretty big. So let's have lore checks. This is a free check that everybody can make right now, just to recognize what the thing is. and what it does. So it's Lord check. It's going to be 3 purple difficulty. Use whatever you want for that.
Well, I guess it's my flat
It's, you know,
intelligence.
droids, knowledge of Imperials, knowledge of history, knowledge of whatever it is.
I don't
It
know.
bothers
Shockingly,
me
Max
that I
has a
don't know what it
success.
is.
Nobody knows what it is, but it looks really bad. No, Craig knows what it is. Max knows what
Max
it is.
knows.
I have no clue.
All right, so
nobody has never not known as much as Jaster doesn't know.
well, Jaster really doesn't know. He doesn't care.
It looks like a blaster pistol to me.
Yeah, it looks like a target to you. So anyway, I'll tell you what it is when Max comes up in the initiative. But since it's Ilsa's turn, the thing is uncoiling, and you know the spike feet seem to be obviously what's been killing people in this ship. So
I'm going to
what
dip
do you
into
do?
the destiny pool.
Okay.
All right. I am ready.
All
I'm
right.
assuming it's 1 purple.
It's 1 purple, except it's not, because I'm going to flip one of these handy dandy destiny points, and it has adversary. So it is actually now 1 purple, 1 red, I believe.
Okay. Yep.
Because it's upgraded twice. One's for the point and one's for adversary.
Great. Firing. And with luck... oh, wait. I have to... No, that's not what I want to do. There we go. Okay. So firing both guns. Not bad.
Ooh,
Not bad.
that's pretty good.
Okay.
So how much damage is that?
Well, I don't get 2 advantages, so I only hit with 1 of the guns. So that's 10.
10 damage. Excellent. All right, so you start pumping blaster bolts into this thing, and it's chips of armor fly off the head part of the droid, right? But now it swivels its head and focuses its attention on you, and will attack you. And it is going into melee. And if I'm remembering correctly, melee is 2 purple difficulty. Okay, so it's 2 purples for me. It's what is its attack? So it's 2 of these, 1 of that, and I think that's about it. So here we go. Hang on, let me just double check something here. Make sure I did it right. Oh, no, wait, I did it wrong. That's the attack.
Ooh, I prefer the other attack.
Yeah. Do you want to make things more difficult for me?
Yes.
By flipping one of your nice light side points that you have 4 of?
I
All
do.
right. So here we go. So say goodbye to ill, boys and girls. Here we go.
Oh dear.
Boom.
Wham.
That is a total of 8 points of damage, and it ignores 2 points of soak.
Ooh.
Wow.
It ignores 2 points of soak. Yes.
Then I take 6.
Or, you have some Sons of Alderaan handy. But you can take your 6. Sure, why not?
No. Erlen, a very quiet, thoughtful Celestin, in a spray of spittle and sweat, hurls himself between me and certain death.
Firing
blazing
his gun.
away. Yeah.
And as he's firing the gun, one the spike just goes right through him, bam, and just the spike slams on the deck, right? So it goes right through him, boom, impaling him, and then just withdraws, and it's all bloody, but the Celestin crumbles to the floor. And with that terrifying thing, who goes next?
Oh,
Is this
I'll
thing
smack
engaged?
It. Yeah, it's on melee with ill,
I
right?
feel-
It's melee with ill. Yeah.
All right,
And
so
I was just gonna smack it with my saber, but
Oh, let's do that. I like that better.
Goes first. Saber first. All right.
Yeah, I'm up in this,
Saber.
and we got one upgrade in my difficulty, right? Because of its adversary. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Jesus, shut up.
He's responding to adversary.
Yeah,
See?
The dogs are
he's being
freaking
extremely
out, yeah.
annoying. He's being extremely annoying. That's what he's doing. Oh my God.
It's funny because it's daylight, so you can see Jose's patio door go up and open and close.
Yeah, it's like so one purple, one red, one of these, one of those. Okay. All right.
That is a hit.
And that is a crit, right? I think
You can.
I can, and I will. And let me just check one detail just to make sure I'm not speaking out of turn. It is not. Let me see. So it ignores obviously any soak the thing has for 7 damage, and it gets 2 crits.
Oh, geez. 6, 7 damage.
7 damage.
Roll those crits.
And crits are D100, right?
Yeah.
So the first
roll the first one.
Right.
Then you'll
So
add
the
10
first
to the
one-
next one.
And then you add 10 to the second one, correct?
Right. So the
So
first
roll the
one
first one.
is 24.
Discouraging wound. Flip 1 light side point to dark side destiny point. Oh, okay, so you guys get a light side point out of this because you 60 plus 10 is 70 scattered senses removes all boost dice until the end. Okay, so you stagger the thing, right? So I think the blow is so powerful that you actually scar one of the photoreceptors, right? It just you maybe collapse 2 because this thing has like 50 eyes. So you just damage 2 of those and carve a furrow through the thing's main body, staggering it. So it just sort of loses balance for a moment. And
Perfect.
who's next?
I'm going to go next. I'm going to
Max,
shoot.
to your horror, you realize that this is actually an assassin probe droid from the Clone Wars. This thing is obviously an infiltrator spy thing. It must have assassinated everybody on board. And you seem to remember that this thing is usually accompanied by a swarm of smaller droids resembling
Beautiful.
it, which you don't see right now.
All right, so I'm going to shoot this thing short range. So normally it'd be 1 purple, but adversary makes it 1 red, and then I'll get an additional purple because it's engaged. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
And then I've got 2 setbacks because I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 1 advantage from the gun being accurate, 1 advantage for my incidental aim because of set trigger, and then 1 advantage because I am going to aim. So this is a lot of dice. Let's go ahead and flip Destiny.
Because it's distracted from the cut. So
Yeah. There we go.
Wow.
And we're going to actually add a success and an advantage to that because it's the first shot.
Oh my god!
Holy crap!
So how much damage is that?
So that's going to end up being 14 damage.
Jeez.
And I'm going to crit it with my advantages and crit it with my triumph. So I'm critting it twice.
All right, so you start at +10 because it already. No, you start at +20.
+20.
20.
So here's my +20
You're
roll.
gonna do 2 crits. All right.
So that's going to be 68 for the first one.
Okay. Another scattered census. So at +30 now.
And this is my +30 is going to be 92.
Jeez.
Juicy.
All right. At the brink, target suffers 1 strain each time he performs an action, but it so happens that your barrage of blaster bolt fire is so devastating that the thing just staggers and staggers as repeated blaster bolt after blaster bolt hits it until it crumples to the floor. Right. The lights in the photoreceptors just dim out.
Now that's teamwork.
Yeah, and I immediately watch for the little ones, and I'm immediately sweeping with the gun, trying to look everywhere to see if we have any company.
And as soon as you said that, you notice that the top of the thing. Let me share it again just to illustrate the point. Top of the thing has a bunch of holes in it, and out of those pores start coming out a bunch of miniature versions of the same droid, right? And it's multiple waves of these things coming out, and they're coming at you. But, fortunately, it's Bob's turn.
Fortunately, yes.
Which is the sound that Bob makes. Ah! Okay, so the difficulty, as these guys, what is our difficulty as we're starting to shoot at these things in a panic?
Well, I think they're close, right? So at close range is what, 1 purple? This thing does not. Oh yeah, does it have adversary? Hang on, because I know the big one does, but I don't know if the little ones do. It is a rival, though. Let's say not.
Okay. We need to use alchemist fire and acid flasks.
So I think it's just going to end up being 1 red because of engagement.
Okay, cool. And then so yeah,
yeah, but he said they don't have adversary, right?
Right, but engagement will upgrade the difficulty, right?
Yeah, to 2 purple. To 2 purple. It increases.
Oh, it increases or upgrades?
No, it increases.
Oh, I thought it upgraded.
No.
Okay. So 2 purple.
Okay, so 2 purples is 2 purples.
And the suns are giving me an advantage. So that so Vincent, Grill, and Flamberg and I are all just like blasting at these little things that are coming at us from everywhere. Trying not to hit all of our friends. And
look at Bob.
Ooh, nice. How much damage is that, Bob?
Oh, let's see. From the light pistol, so 6 or 9.
So it's a 9. So you managed to take out 4 of these things because they move around so fast that your blaster bolts are mostly hitting the deck, right? So it's only 4 that you take down, and there was about 20 something of these things, right? So you just took out 4, right? There's still a huge carpet of these little things just swarming at you. But we're back up to the top of the initiative order, and we still have a PC slot. So it's new round. Who takes the first slot next round?
Il
wants it. Go for it.
All right. This is even more horrifying than the solar flare somehow.
And yet no fear check. Look at that. Yeah.
The player missed the fear check this time.
Well, I just love in our group chat, we're like, do we want to play Age of Empire? Do we want to play Alien? And Eloy's like, why not both?
All right.
Yeah, well, that's one of my concerns, right? Is it, do we need a game to play this? You can play Alien with a lot of things, but it's cool.
Is great.
It's fine.
Okay. Here we go.
As long as none of them hug our face.
And
you see, he used the wrong color.
What color?
Does
And
it use the black
it says use
destiny?
Black Destiny.
Ah, there we go.
Oh,
Man.
Oh, no. Ill, no. Bad ill.
See what happens when you use Black Destiny. You see what happens?
wait, why did you use a red?
I
Because of the
am
engage
firing
range, we said, yeah.
both guns, so
Oh,
it upgrades the difficulty.
Ah.
Interesting. So,
Ouch.
I should have taken away the purple, but the purple only added a threat,
Right.
so it doesn't
that
matter.
is a threat, so it's not. All right, so you start firing at these, and then your gun jams, right? It just one of the guns is jammed. Actually, both. Maybe both are jammed. You have to, unjam it somehow.
Okay.
You do have, and they managed to scatter before your blaster bolts, because you barely just started shooting when the pistols jammed, right?
They overheated. The blasters overheated.
It might have been the solar flare, right, that just interfered with the electronic equipment, but it'll just take a maneuver to unjam those, I believe. So,
Yep.
I will. You have two advantages.
I'll use the two advantages to take the extra maneuver to clear the guns.
Please, to reset or something. I don't think the plasma bolts are jammed inside your barrel. Please stop talking about jamming. It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
You sort of have to, unplug the power pack and plug it back.
You have to turn it off and turn it back on again.
He's holding the red button for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And the bad news is that the swarm is attacking. Who is it attacking? We should attack Bob, because
I thought that was Anthony's dog for a second.
I suddenly have a goat.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, that those bossins, I just see them just making this sound like a terrified goat, like when they're.
I believe it.
I'm gonna be fair about this. I'm going to roll the D4, and it says number 1, Bob.
All I remember from I hated the Grand from the Kyle Katarn games, because they'd shoot the disruptor rifles at you that you couldn't block, so you had to force push them off, and they screamed so nice when you finally got them.
I used to hate those guys. Yeah. So, all right. So the attack roll is one of these, 2 of these. It's 2 purple to brawl. So I got 1 yellow, 2 greens, 2 purple to attack Bob. Bob, do you want to flip one of those dice?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Do I want to flip one of those dice?
Ooh.
To make my attack even more dangerous. Let's flip it. Why not? Let's just do it. 2 yellows, 1 green. There we go. It'll be fine. Perfect. Here we go. Bob gets swarmed by the small assassin droids, and he takes 4 points of damage, but it ignores 2 points of soak.
So, in a tragic moment. In a tragic moment.
The leg of
Flambert
becomes
turned into Swiss cheese by multiple little droids.
They crawl up his legs and sort of
pushing him off me, and they're just like they're landing on him. It's like an accident.
The little legs are like razor blades, right? So they're stabbing into him, and he collapses to the floor. Rest in peace. And now 3 PC slots in a row. Who goes next?
All right, so I think it's time for me to wade into these things with my lightsaber. Does that sound like a plan?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, as poor, what was his face that just got Swiss cheesed?
Flamberg.
Okay, I knew he was gonna bite it first.
Oh yeah, with his perfect hair and his perfect teeth.
So as you know, as Flamberge gets swarmed, I go no, and I kind of like flip over Bob and start sweeping with the lightsaber. Let's see how ineffective that is. All right. So it's. Are you gonna flip anything?
No, I think I'm good. Two purple difficulty.
All right. So that's
Yeah.
8.
I used up all the failure.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fantastic. That's incredible.
So it's 8 damage.
8 damage that goes through soak, and I guess I take a strain. Right?
Yes. 8 damage. So, he's swinging the lightsaber blade around and, scoring grooves on the deck plating below, right? But he's also
My shit.
killing a small droids, and you kill another handful, but there's still a bunch of droids remaining. But luckily, it's either Bob or Max who goes next.
Bob's okay with it. I'll go.
Oh, go ahead, Max. I'm just pushing these things off me as fast as I can.
Sure would be nice to have a grenade about now.
Oh,
I don't believe I have one. I do not. All right.
I have grenades or something. Oh, you're muted, I'll say.
I have one, but it's a stun grenade, so that's why I didn't use it.
All right, so I am shooting. I've got 2 green.
A blaster rifle, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 2 green, 2 yellow. Ends up with 3 boosts because of aim and Alderaan and accurate. And I got 1 purple, 1 red. 1 up 1 for. Well, no, I don't get the red. I just get 2 purple.
2 purple, yeah.
Yep. All right, and then the 2 setback.
Yeah.
So that'll be 12, and I will
12.
crit. So if there's minions, I kill an additional 1.
No, they're not minions; they're rivals. So.
Oh, okay. Shall I roll a crit then?
Yes, please. 1 crit. Sudden jolt. The target drops whatever is in hand, which is Flamberge is in hand. So I guess they scatter off of Flamberge.
One of them brought their lunch and they just dropped it.
A little Star Wars lunchbox.
Exactly.
But
it's kind of it's Old Republic.
Yeah, exactly. So they're still moving around, and Bob, do something, man.
How many did I take out?
You took out 5 of the things. Still,
like
about a dozen left.
Go away!
You're taking about half of the swarm. Whoa! That's what I'm
Damn,
talking
boy.
about.
Suddenly Bob is John Wick.
Furiously. Vince and Grill are helping. We're just...
Bob becomes exponentially more effective the more scared he is. Have you noticed that? When he starts freaking out, get away, that's when he's like super efficient. So,
I wish that were true for me.
Yeah. So we're saying that Bob looks like the poor guy, may he rest in peace, who played Hudson, but with a grand mask. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's right.
Game over,
Game over, man. That's 10 points, right, Bob?
Yes, it's 10 points. Yeah. This one's launching itself in my face, and I blast it, right in the midair.
2 advantages.
So, there's still 8 of the things left. What do you do with the 2 advantages? You recover some strain, or?
Yeah, Morty's strain.
I don't think.
No, I'm throwing. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm throwing boost to the next person just by this barrage of fire everywhere.
Nice. So you're sort of hurting them in one direction. So that probably asks us
into ill sights.
Into ill sights because we start the round again. So
okay.
So top of the round, ill. Go
That's
for
exciting. All right, so let's see what kind of despair we can generate this time. No pun intended.
So ill's guns, you can hear them going now like charging up again. So
all right.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I have to say that in my opinion, I mean, you guys have played this a lot more than me, but I think that for ease of play, despairs and triumphs should cancel each other because this is just like crazy.
It's much better if they don't.
I love it.
More interesting if they don't.
I love it.
So, okay, let's do the damage first and see what happens.
Okay.
How much damage?
So that's 9 damage, and I use the 2 advantages so that I do 9 damage twice.
Okay, that's what I was about to say.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's 2 separate attacks, right? That's 2 separate attacks.
Right, it's 2 separate attacks. 9 and 9.
9 and 9. That's pretty good.
And okay. I'll use the triumph for. I'll use the triumph to this. The interior of this place is already wrecked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to bring down some ruined superstructure, which is already dangling above, right, down to separate us from a bunch of these critters, right? So that they have to climb over it or through it, and we can take pot shots at them to give us some breathing space with the triumph.
All right, so here's what happens. You start blazing out, right? And you go for the superstructure first. And so that thing just collapses a large piece of, maybe it's like one of those cranes to lift heavy equipment from one table to the other, right? They ride on rails on the ceiling. Maybe that's even what the probe droid was clinging onto when you walked into the room. So you managed to shoot that off the hinges, and it collapses on top of the mass of the remaining probe droids, crushing them to death, except for one probe droid, which sort of escapes, and you just pick them off, right, as it manages to avoid the thing falling off. But, in this process, some of the blaster bolts flew wide, and you hit the window, the transparent steel window on the back of
my ship
plate of your ship, and it was already cracked, and so it just goes out, right, and the thing starts to decompress atmosphere, right, and starting to pull you out, and does that trigger another fear check? Let's trigger a fresh fear check as you try to.
I want to plug
regain,
the hole with the
keep your balance and not get get sucked out into space.
Everybody rolls this. The fear check against.
Yeah, let's 2 purple difficulty.
2 purple, and it's our
discipline.
Discipline. Oh, that's right.
Which is based on will.
Jeez, I failed again. Good Lord.
So you take 1 strain, and you get 2 setback dice for subsequent actions. Anthony fails as well, so he takes a penalty dice and you get 2 more conflict for end of session, right?
Darth ill by the end of this.
Yeah, and now our friend Jaster has failed, so he takes 2 conflict at the end of session, 1 setback die for the session and for the foreseeable future. But if there's a next fear check after this, Jose, remember that you get 1 blue boost die. So if you have to check for fear again, that's what happens. And this coincides with the ship being buffeted by another, another wave of the solar wind. And Bob doesn't get conflict because Bob is above all this, force stuff. But he does take 1 strain, and he takes a setback die going forward. All right. So
how,
you guys,
how big is the hole? How big is the hole? Oh, do we manage to plug it, or do we have to do rolls?
It's fine. I'm not gonna bother you with you just manage to keep your footing and maybe get back into the corridor and seal the hatch. So the room is now decompressed, but it's fine. So you're back in the corridor. Yeah.
Well, I got bad news. I don't think your guy made it.
Bob,
that's a reasonable assumption.
Do you have to be so hurtful?
Bob looks I just look completely confused. No, just accurate.
We don't know yet. Let us not jump to conclusions.
Okay. Scientific method, evidence. So just bows down back to muttering to himself.
But
all right,
that's a pretty horrific way to lose your life. Who would send? Well, I guess we know who would send it.
So, and we know that this ship was here, by the Stardust during the Clone Wars. This happened during the Clone Wars.
Yes, this is a Clone Wars era. Was it Clone Wars? I think it's the beginning of the Clone Wars. I think this was Order 66.
Right. The end of the Republic.
Right, so this is the end of the Clone Wars.
Okay. And Aloy, was the assassin droid that old as well?
Yes, it's from that era. So it's end of the Clone Wars. So reasonable assumption to make that there was a Jedi Master on board the ship. Somebody sent an assassin droid after him. And this guy wasn't really working with the army, right? So they didn't send clone troopers to do Order 66. They just used a separatist droid. So you guys make your way down the ship, and there's a set of double doors here. Just imagine that they're there, and you find this large chamber beyond. This is my fog of war.
Yeah, you're not sharing right now, as far as I can see.
Oh, okay, that's even better. So you walk south down the corridor. You find a nice set of double doors, right? And it doesn't have a label on it, so you don't know what's beyond. You haven't sensed any life yet, but
I'm gonna go ahead for nothing, huh? No.
You don't get anything. Okay. All right. So you open the double doors and you enter this cathedral-like area, right? It's large. It's a vaulted ceiling. You can see that it has these trees, right, which are now dead, because it's been quite a while. So has anybody had any reason to ever visit the world of Ithor, where the Ithorians come from? Would you say? Would any of your characters have done that? Yes or no?
I imagine I have been there.
All right. So you recognize you recognize that the trees are dead Nulor trees, and there's most of them, it's just dead wood by now, right? But there are, blue and pink fungi, which are also part of the fauna the flora of Ithor. So it seems to me, or it seems to you, that this area must have been intended to recreate the jungles of Ithor, right? Provide some sort of peaceful chamber with these trees and bushes and stuff like that. It doesn't really seem like a interior of a ship, right? It seems more like a grove of these trees would have looked like in Aether, except it's been 20 years, so they're pretty much dead. Only the fungi survive on the debris from the tree, right? And even them, they're not that many, or as many as there would have been, had not so much time passed. And you notice that in the center of this room, and I realize I'm not sharing, so maybe I should share. It's not much to see. Sure.
These trees here provided life that probably helped Master Fontar connect to the Force.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so at the center of the room, there is a dais, right? It's slightly raised up, and it contains what seems to be a pillar made of stone, right? It's like 3 foot high or something like that, in the middle of the room. And collapsed on the floor next to it is this corpse of an Ithorian, right? Dressed in robes, right?
So I run over to the corpse, obviously.
Yeah. So you recognize the shape because it's kind of mummified, right? Just like the others, right? And it's punctured in several places, so it is obviously the corpse of Jedi Master Fontar. Right?
I can't help myself. I'm checking the ceiling.
Yeah. It's obviously, the corpse of the Jedi Master has been killed by the probe droid decades ago, right? When you roll it over, the from beneath the robes rolls out a lightsaber.
Okay.
So it's his lightsaber. And you guys are coming in the chamber. There's just a mist on the floor, and and there's lights that sort of flicker, so you can see sections of the roof, right? They just sort of flicker in and out, and such. And there's the stone pillar in the center.
Right.
And under my breath, probably nobody can hear, but I was going 2 + 2 = 4. Scientific method, most likely outcome. And a little louder. Well, these astromech droids weren't gardeners, were they?
I always grab the lightsaber and I look at it. It's like it was too much to hope for, but all right. So and there's nothing else on him, right? Because nothing else on him.
Nothing else, right? The robes are decayed, after 20 years. Well, I guess they're, maybe bacteria on it.
All right, so then I think I tell you this pillar must have some meaning to him. So let's examine it with eyes and other senses.
Actually climb on it, for meditative purposes.
Right. Well, it's not wide enough to climb on. It's in the center of the chamber, but there's a raised dais, right? Like imagine a small, I don't know, column about maybe this wide, and it's made out of stone and it's carved, and you can sort of stand next to it and look at it, right? And as you do, you start noticing, it's got beautiful carvings and it's got. It's made out of the stone, and you can see that it has imagine like a grill, like instead of being metal bars, right? It's all made of stone, so you can sort of see inside that there's a cavity in there, and you're noticing, there seem to be like some stone rods in there that look like they can move, and so you start figuring out that this is some sort of puzzle or lock mechanism that might be manipulated if only you could reach and touch it, but the opening isn't, the openings are good enough to see through, but you can't get your hands in there, right? The bars would just let your fingers go in, and you can't really manipulate the rods inside.
Can they be manipulated with the move power? Or is
you
that
might
too
think
fine?
so, because it's a Jedi thing, right? So that's a good idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as that thought is occurring to you,
that's the power of the Force music starts to come from the speakers.
yeah, there's suddenly a shrill noise comes from Bob's comlink. Sir! And that just goes back to static, right? And Il gets really bad feeling as the double doors in the back of the room open up, disturbing the mist. And from the darkness emerges a figure dressed in a black spacesuit with a transparent, similar to yours, right? It's a woman. It's a Twi'lek woman. But in her hand, she's completely white, chalk white. This is a variant of the species, which is very rare. It's completely white. But her eyes are red. And she bears the now familiar inquisitorial lightsaber with the circular pattern to the hilt. And she says, the Jedi. Inquisitor Voren will be happy with this price. Brother Sin sends his regards, and she ignites a red lightsaber.